everyone. Once again, welcome to Westside Meetup. The last Wednesday of every month, we're here. But for those of you who don't know who I am Gilbert Coloma. I am an out-of-state investor using the fix and hold strategy, which is the burst strategy out of state, and it's something that you know I've had success with, and I'm using it to build passive income. Hopefully to leave my W-2 sooner rather than later, and that's the strategy I'm going with, and that's why we're here. We're talking about real estate related stuff today, right? So before we get started, I'd like to go ahead and go over some rules and housekeeping notes here. So first, this meeting will be recorded, right? And posted online if you wanted to watch it again, if you missed something or want to share it with some friends, right? Second, I'd like to ask everyone to please mute your mics to minimize distractions for our speaker and for everyone else. Third, if you have any questions, please post them in the chat and we'll answer them during the Q&A portion of the presentation. And lastly, please stick around after the presentation as we transition into breakout rooms to do some networking, right? Networking is huge in real estate investing. So please stick around for that. And we always put this out, it's a disclaimer. This is purely information only. So get from it what you want. And, I'd like to, some announcements here. So if you haven't yet, please follow us on Facebook at Westside Real Estate Meetup Group. Also, if you're not on our email list, please, I think Brandon will share it in the chat. Shoot us an email. We'll add you to the list. And of course, a small fee for coming on tonight. If you found any value tonight, please let a friend or family member know about us and our monthly meetup, right? Small fee for us to, share this community here. Brandon.
All right. Yeah. What's up, Gilbert? Thank you for that introduction. And, if you guys, this is your first time here, I just want to share who I am. My name is Brandon Rabe. I'm the co-host of this meetup with Gilbert, along with our in-person meetup that we do called Real Estate at the Park. I'm also an active investor, just like Gilbert, fix and hold, I think is what he called it, right? Using the burst strategy out in the Midwest. And I'm also a real estate trainer. So I'm one of the advisors with WNN Properties, along with Gilbert and some of the people here on the call. Now, tonight, I'm excited, and I think all of you guys are too. We're going to be talking about a topic that a lot of real estate investors tend to come across, and that's private money, right? Raising private money, trying to do that so we can get more deals done and so forth. So I'm excited for tonight's topic and excited for tonight's guest. Before I introduce him, I did want to mention that on top of the Facebook group, the Facebook page, and our email list, we have a meetup roster for you guys to fill out. It's kind of a big group tonight, so you may not be able to meet everybody in the breakout session. So the meetup roster is just your opportunity to go fill out and share some of your contact information, share what you need and what your strengths are. And then that can be shared with everybody else that's on the call later on so that you guys can connect that way. So I want to encourage you guys, go ahead and fill out that meetup roster. That way we get to help one another grow, right? So go ahead and do that. Now, on to tonight's guest. And his name is Dave Dubeau. He's coming in all the way from British Columbia, Canada. And I know it's late on his end, so we really appreciate him coming to share his time with us and share about private money and so forth. He's been in real estate for quite some time, I believe over 20 years, right, Dave? So he's got a little bit of experience, but we're just grateful to have him on. I had an opportunity to be on his podcast. That's how we got connected. So he's just a really great guy, really great speaker. He's also an author. He has a new book coming out, which I'll give you some information later on, put that in the chat. But without further ado, I just want to bring up Dave and allow him to speak about private money. So what's up, Dave? Welcome to
Hey,
Westlake.
Brandon, thanks so much. Gilbert, thank you so much. And hey, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us here tonight. It's my pleasure to be your speaker this evening. So, Brandon, would you like me to share my screen? You want us to get things rolling here with everything?
Let's go ahead and do that.
All right. So, you guys do me a favor, just because I have a hard time chewing gum and walking at the same time. Give me a little thumbs up if you can see that blue screen, if that's all visible. Wyatt, you able to see that? Yep. Okay, good. All right. Very good, you guys. So we're going to blast through this and show you my process that I call the money partner formula. This is something that's worked really well for me for raising money. More importantly, it's worked really well for a lot of other real estate investors across Canada, across the United States. At this point, we've worked with well over 200 private clients and applied this for them, and it's worked really, really well for hundreds of people. In fact, cumulatively, our clients have raised well over $300 million in counting for these deals following the process I'm going to share with you here tonight. So this is what I call Private Money 101. So this is really designed for what I call mom and pop real estate investors who are getting started with raising capital, who are getting started with using OPM, other people's money, and they aren't quite sure how to get going with that. We're going to help you raise your first 6 figures in as little as a few weeks, in a matter of weeks, and even your first 7 figures, so that means over $1 million, in a matter of months. So let's see a little bit of interaction here, you guys. Give me a thumbs up if you like that idea. Who likes the idea of getting 100 grand or more of other people's money in the next number of weeks? Give me a thumbs up there. And who really wants to bat big and go for that $1 million mark, even if it takes you a few months? Would that be okay? If that took you 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, would that still be pretty darn good? All right, well, that's what we're going to show you here, is exactly how to do that. So we're going to run through this, you guys. Big thanks again to Brandon and Gilbert for making this happen. So it was so great interviewing Brandon on my podcast. That's how we got connected. And this is really for folks who don't have the money they need to do as big a deals or as many deals as they want to. You either want to do a higher volume of deals or start getting into bigger properties, right? So we've worked with people who are doing flips and they want to do more of them. We've also worked with people that are doing single family homes, for example, and they want to start scaling up into multifamily. So whatever that is that you want to do, if you want to do more of what you're currently doing or start getting into bigger deals, this is going to work for you, right? If you're stuck with a portfolio that doesn't quite replace that W-2 job, this is for you. If you're looking to get out of your job and into real estate investing full-time, definitely for you. If you don't like that job, you want to tell your boss where to stick it, this is definitely for you. And you know what? Who else can relate to this? Are you trying to juggle the real estate thing, the work thing, the family thing, all of these things all at once, self-managing all your properties? Does anybody kind of find that a little bit frazzling? Anybody else? I'm the only one. Everybody else has got it completely dialed in. They got it figured out. All right. So if you're feeling a little bit frazzled, this is definitely going to work for you. And if you're nervous about starting to raise capital, you're not quite sure how to go about doing it, how to talk to people, this is definitely going to help you out as well, right? So this is going to help you have access, easy access to lots of money to do more deals. You're not going to have to worry about getting rejected, looking foolish, getting shot down in flames, none of that stuff. We're going to show you a different way. We're going to show a way to get people to coming to you instead of you chasing after them, okay? It might sound a little bit pie in the sky right now, but we're going to show you step by step exactly how to do that and how to get investor meetings booked on autopilot. So I want you guys to take down some notes as we're going along here. I'm going to be sharing some big picture ideas with you. I'm also going to get into the weeds with you a little bit here and actually do some hands-on exercises. I always hate that term, exercises, homework, all that kind of sounds like work, right? But we're going to have fun with math here tonight. Is anybody up for that? If we show you fun math, which is also called profitable math, who's up for that here tonight? We're all up for that. That's what it's all about, okay? And really, really getting you time to focus on what's important for you. So a little bit about my background. Like Brandon says, I've been investing actually since 2001. Got into it full-time in 2003, but my first few deals were actually way back in 2001. Believe it or not, what we would call pre-foreclosure deals that I did in San Jose, Costa Rica when I was living there. So I lived overseas for about 14 years and in Costa Rica for 10 of those years. Came back to Canada, started getting into real estate investing. I did creative deals at the beginning. Then I started getting into single family homes and most recently into multifamily properties. So what I'm going to show you here has worked really well for me for raising millions of bucks for my own deals, but it's really worked well for the clients that we work with who cumulatively raised well over 300 billion. So that's what my team and I do. We have a boutique marketing agency. We work with a handful of clients every month, and we help them implement everything I'm going to be teaching you here today. We actually provide done for you marketing services. Okay. So written a few books, 8 of them at this point. I've written, I just counted them actually, because we're going to do a big podcast tour in the next couple of months. I've been interviewed on over 90 different real estate podcasts in the last couple of years. So if you Google my name, it'll probably pop up in a few different podcasts. I've had the pleasure of speaking with, hey, that guy on the left is a Hawaiian. Anybody recognize him? He wrote a purple book that a few people bought a couple of years ago, originally from Hawaii. Yeah, big. His friends call him Bobby K. Bobby K. So Robert Kiyosaki. I had the pleasure of speaking on stage with Robert Kiyosaki and Ken McElroy. Anybody recognize that guy in the middle? That's George Foreman. He sold a few grills, knocked out a few guys. Here's the crazy thing, you guys. I'm not that tall, but I'm not that short, right? I'm 5'8". I'm standing up in that picture. George is sitting down in that picture. That's how big that man is. He's absolutely huge. Look at the size of his fist under my chin. It's like the size of my head. It's huge. Here's somebody a little bit more my size, stature-wise. Robert Herjavec, Ted Thomas, late great Stefan Arnio, all sorts of folks. But all that's great. But what's really important, and why you might want to hear me out today, is the results that we've helped other people get. So here's a great example. This is Rick. And Rick, when we first started with him, was also doing kind of the BRRRR strategy. He had one house in his portfolio, was negative $300 a month cash flow. He learned more about real estate investing. He dialed it in on raising capital, quickly blew up his portfolio to 19 properties, single family homes with suites in them. He was doing a really cool strategy. He'd actually rent out the garage separately. He'd rent out the backyard for RV storage. So by the time the smoke cleared, he was actually netting $900 a month per property times 19. Each one of those property completely financed by an investor partner. Not sure exactly what that comes out to, but 19 times 900 is pretty darn good. That replaced his JOB income very, very quickly. Paul and John, these guys were already rocking and rolling with raising capital, but they were doing it the old-fashioned way. So they were doing the old Wolf of Wall Street thing, pick up the phone and dial for dollars and network and schmooze and all that kind of stuff that looks like fun on TV, but isn't much fun in real life. They were doing that. We worked with them. We helped them dial in this process. They very, very quickly raised 1.5 million for the self-storage deals they were doing in Georgia. So they actually just cashed out a little while ago and they sailed off into the sunset financially. Okay. Marco Nava, we helped him go from single family homes to much bigger multifamily properties. And within a year, we helped him replace his JOB income and become a full-time real estate entrepreneur. All right. So he's able to quit his nice, cushy government job, do real estate investing full-time. Okay. So what are we going to cover here tonight? You guys, we're going to do fun with math. I'm going to show you. Brandon's going to help me with this. So we're going to see how this goes, because we're going to be going on the tightrope without a trampoline underneath us here, you guys, without the net. We're going to show you what the lifetime worth of an investor is to you. So this is fun with math. I'm going to suggest that you play along with us when we do this. It's going to be a real eye-opener for you. We're going to go over 3 core principles that are really important for you to understand when it comes to raising private capital. And then we're going to dive into it. We're going to show you the importance of your investor list, who they are, where they are, how you can find them. We're going to talk about how to turn on your marketing, your capital raising marketing, and get you investor meetings, get you people booking meetings on your calendar instead of you chasing after them. And then if you'd like, I'll do kind of a big picture demo of how the whole thing works. Who likes the idea of a demo? Does anybody like that idea? Sheena, What do you think? If you don't want to do it, if Sheena doesn't want it, I ain't doing it. Hey, Sheena, do you want it? Okay, very good. We'll do it then. And then if you're interested, I'll show you how you can reach out and get some help if you're looking for some help with this. Okay, very good. Brandon, your turn, my friend. Your turn pretty quick here. We're going to show the lifetime worth of an investor. You guys, this is an important number. So here's one of our clients. This is Anthony. Have a little listen to what he had to say, because I was talking with him after we've been working with him for a couple of months, just about the kind of results he was getting with all of this marketing you're going to be learning about here tonight. So have a little listen to this, you guys. You might have to turn up the volume on your speakers depending on how it sounds. Have a listen.
As of today, over the past, I would say 4 weeks, we've just brought in $900,000. Yeah, it's like, it's good. It just pumps you up, right?
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So how did you bring in the 900 grand over the last 4 weeks?
Part of it's been ongoing dialogue with people.
Yeah.
Part of it's been kind of seeing what's going on, and then kind of also getting communication from us with this side we're doing with you. So it's just putting the word out there and constant communication without pushing anybody. Yeah. They know what you're doing. What's really starting to apply here is that thing we did with you where you see the lifetime worth. That really hit home, because then we're sitting there going, oh, let's do the number on that.
Nice.
We're like pumped.
Nice.
This definitely helps. It gives you that extra push. Like, you give us that extra push we need to not sit, because we set lofty expectations for ourselves, but we know we can't do, we need somebody to kind of guide us.
So what these guys are doing, you guys, is Brandon, you and Gilbert, you're doing the BRRRR strategy, right? These guys are doing something similar, but they're doing it with commercial properties. So they're taking old kind of historic buildings in downtown areas and converting them into sometimes mixed use, but quite often residential units, right? Just absolutely rocking and rolling with this. So kind of the BRRRR on a really, really big scale. And we helped them raise several millions of dollars to do that sort of thing. So let's figure this out for you guys. Time to have fun with math. So feel free to pull out a clean piece of paper for yourself. Or if you want, I'll let you know Brandon's going to let you know my website towards the end. You can go there, you can visit there, you can download an actual document if you want. But for right now, just pull out a piece of paper, and I have spared no expense in putting this high quality graphic together for us. So you can do something similar here, you guys. You can kind of take a look at what's on the screen and then fill in the blanks as we go. And I'm going to pick on Brandon. He's been voluntold that he's going to help me out here, and we're going to walk through this with him. And then I'm going to encourage you guys to do the same things yourselves. All right. So Brandon, you ready to rumble?
Alrighty, let's do it.
Okay, so we looking on the screen there. First of all, let's just go over what your main investment strategy is. You're doing the BRRRR strategy, correct?
Correct.
Okay, very good. So I gave Brandon a little bit of homework ahead of time to figure this out. So the first number we need to figure out is, what is your average net profit on a deal? So Brandon's doing the BRRRR strategy. The cool thing about the BRRRR is there's all sorts of ways that Brandon's making money and his investors are making money on the same deal. So I'm aware of 8 different profit centers, 8 different potential profit centers in a real estate deal. I think Brandon gets pretty much all of them when he's doing the BRRRR strategy. But the big ones would be instant equity, for example. So you guys, if you're able to get a really good deal on a property and buy it under market value, then that's called instant equity. So Brandon, are you able to get instant equity on deals usually? Are you buying them under market value?
Usually, yep. I'm usually targeting something that's under market value. Yep.
Yeah. So I know everyone's different, but if you could pull a number out of the sky that's quasi-realistic, what would you say on average is kind of like the instant equity, the discount you're able to get on properties when you buy them?
So, and then you can help me out here too if I'm calculating it wrong, right? I'm looking at something in total. I want to be about 75 to 85% of the ARV. So if that's the case, let's just say I'm purchasing something for 60 grand, and then I put 30 grand of rehab into it to make it worth 100.
Yeah, well, okay. So that wouldn't be actually, that would be forced appreciation.
Okay.
So if you're buying it for 60 grand, where the instant equity would come in is if the actual market value of that property were 70 grand and you're getting it consistently for 60, then you've got a $10,000 piece of instant equity there. You've got a discount of 10 grand on that property. So is that something you're typically doing, or are you typically kind of paying fair market value for the properties?
No, we could go with that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys, I don't want to go through each profit center because we'll be here all night, but bottom line is you got to take a look at your strategy. You know, if you're consistently getting instant equity, then take that into account. If you're consistently increasing the value of the property by doing renovations, rehabs, whatever, you know, maximizing the value, then take that into account. And then if you're holding on to the properties long term, then you got to take into account mortgage pay down, a typical market appreciation, not pie in the sky, crazy numbers like have been happening through COVID, but what is more the natural appreciation rate. You might take into account depreciation, obviously cash flow, all of these different profit centers. And then if you're doing it over like a long-term buy and hold type deal, then use just kind of like a 10-year window to get an idea of what a deal's worth. Are you guys following me here? I know there's a lot of information coming at you, but Brandon told me you're a sharp group, so we'll go with that. Okay, so Brandon, if we kind of wave the magic wand, what would you say over a 10-year period, if you take all of the different profit centers into account, what would you say is your net profit on a deal over 10 years?
Over 10 years. Okay. Let me calculate this really quick.
So you're doing single family homes, what area of the country, give or take?
Midwest.
The Midwest. Okay. So I'll help you out here, buddy. I'm going to say that probably your net profit is somewhere in the $100,000 range over that 10-year time frame. By the time you take into account the 10 grand you got in instant equity, forced appreciation, market appreciation, mortgage pay down, cash flow, depreciation, all that kind of stuff, you're probably getting pretty close to 100 grand. Would that be fair?
Okay. Yeah.
You don't sound convinced.
Over 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Should be. That's why we're in the business of real estate, because the profits over time tend to be pretty good. So we're going to plug that in there, you guys. 100 grand is Brandon's average profit on a deal. You guys give me a thumbs up. You're following with me. If this is kind of about what you think yours is, you can use that number for yourself. If you're doing bigger deals, it's probably a bigger number. If you're doing flips, it's probably a lower number, but you're getting a higher velocity of deals. All right. So that's A. Now, Brandon, the kind of properties that you're buying, they're under $100,000, right?
On average.
Or give or take around 100,000.
We can go with
that.
So
how much are you needing, not including bank financing, how much cash do you need for down payment, property closing costs, repairs, that kind of stuff? So about how much cash do you need per deal?
Well, like I said, I'm targeting about 75 to 85%. So we'll just go with about 80 grand.
80 grand. Okay. So you're going all cash into the deal.
Correct.
With the investor partner. Okay. So let's say you had, what I typically recommend for our clients is the fewer investors per deal, the better. So if I were you, if I were advising you, Brandon, I would say, ideally, you would want to have one investor per deal. One investor coming up with the 80 grand, you're partnering with them on the deal. You're probably doing a 50-50 split type thing just to keep things simple, but one investor per deal. Does that sound good?
Okay. Yep.
Does that sound fair? Okay. So one investor per deal. So we got $100,000. You got one investor per deal. And then what would you say would be the average number of deals that investor would do with you over your working relationship with that person?
Okay, that's a good question. I would say 4.
4?
We can go with 4. Yeah.
Gilbert, you're in the same business. Does that sound about right? Does that sound fair? Yeah. Give or take. Okay, let's be conservative, guys. Let's say 3. How about we say 3, just to be a little bit pessimistic? All right.
Okay.
Just I don't want it to be too pie in the sky. Okay, 3 deals over time. So that's C. All right. Now, if you're being proactive and you're looking for testimonials and you're asking people for referrals, you're doing a good job with them. They're reinvesting with you a couple of times. How many referrals to new investors do you think you could get from that one investor? Realistic, conservatively.
Conservatively? Oh, gee, maybe
2. Roderick says 2. You guys can pop in here. What do you think? Put up your fingers. One referral.
Maybe 2.
Christopher says 5. 2. Can we say 2? Would 2 be realistic, you guys? Would that be all right? Okay. All right. So if we're getting 2, if one investor is bringing us 2 more investors, then our referral factor here from that one investor is actually 3, right? So we start with the one investor and he brings 2 more investors. That means that our referral factor is actually 3. Okay. So I'm going to put that in there. And now here's where the math gets fun, you guys. Okay. So we got a $100,000 average profit per deal divided by one investor that we need per deal, right? Gives us 100,000 multiplied by 3 deals that investor is going to do with us over time, brings our number up to what? 300,000. And then we're getting 2 more referrals from that person. So that brings our referral factor is 3. I know the math gets a little weird there, but that's what it is. It's one investor is the equivalent of 3 investors. So multiply by 3, what does that come to? So 300 times 3 is what?
We got 900,000.
$900,000. $900,000. That's what an investor is potentially worth to you, Mr. Brandon.
Oh, okay.
That's one investor. How much would 2 investors be worth? How much would 3 investors be worth? You see where I'm going here?
Okay. Yeah.
You're not sounding very convinced.
No.
Let's say it's half that much. Let's say you suck at getting referrals. Okay. Let's say that you're only able to get 1 referred investor for every 2 investors that you have. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that, if we had that would chop that in half. That would bring that down to $450,000. If you only got 1 referred investor for every 2 investors, that would bring that down to $450,000. Is that still pretty good?
Got it. Yeah. Yeah, that's still pretty good. Yeah.
Seeing that the average North American salary is about $45,000 a year, how long would it take the average person to save up $450,000?
Yeah, quite some
Here's
time.
the answer. Never. Okay. Does this make sense, you guys? Give me a little hands up if this makes sense to you. Now, I don't know what it takes to excite you Hawaiians. I don't know what it takes to get you guys perked up. You are not looking anywhere near as perky as I thought you might look when we saw this number. When I figured out this number, you guys, first of all, it was a hell of a lot lower than that. And it still blew my mind. The strategy I was doing at the time that I did this was rent to own. So it was kind of a quicker, almost like a flip. My number was 120,000. And that was like a mind-blowing thing for me. It's like, oh my God, 120 grand. That's amazing. Because when you understand how much an investor is worth to you, it really changes your perspective on the whole thing. Now you're not limited to the size of portfolio you can have. You're not limited once you crack the code on raising capital. Is this starting to resonate with anybody? Is this making sense? All right. Show me a little love in the chat box here, you guys. If you actually figured out this number for yourself, go ahead, type it in the chat box. Let's see what we got. If anybody followed along with their own numbers. And Brandon, I'll let you share that with me because I can't chew gum and look at chat boxes at the same time. Plus, we got stuff to go through here, you guys. All right. So hopefully you're excited about the potential lifetime worth of an investor for you. Let's go get you some. Who likes that idea? Now we know how much they're worth. Who wants to go get some? Okay. Lee's too busy writing notes. Lee, don't worry too much about the notes. There's going to be a replay of this. So just really focus on the message. All right. Brandon, anything interesting coming in the chat box? I see stuff coming in fast and furious. I'm just not reading it. So if anything looks interesting, let me know.
I'll let you know.
Okay. 3 foundational principles, you guys. Really, really important. These come in after the 20-some years of experience I've got in real estate investing and 30 years in business. These are critical if you want to have long-term success in real estate investing, especially when it comes to raising capital. All right. So if you don't dial this in, you're really going to have a struggle. It's going to be really, really tough. So we want to make sure that you understand these foundational principles. And here's the thing. 3 of them, pretty simple. And sometimes a picture says 1,000 words. So the first foundational principle is don't be that guy or that girl. And a picture says 1,000 words. Guys, you know what I'm talking about here, right? Sniveling around, just kind of being creepy and desperate. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about. You've all had guys that have been kind of approached you like this. Sheena, I won't ask you if Chris approached you like that back in the day. I don't know. Probably not. But anyhow, you don't want to come across as desperate and needy, right? So this reminds me, unfortunately, of myself back in high school, trying to get dates. I went about it all wrong and it just didn't work. I had a buddy of mine who was a funny looking guy, even back in the 80s when I was in high school. He was weird looking and, thick glasses, spiky hair, the whole bit. But he was always batting out of his league when it came to the ladies. Why? Because he had the confidence. He had the confidence. That's what it's all about. Same thing when it comes to raising capital. So here's the whole thing, right? We want to make sure that we are not doing desperate things to raise capital. So in my opinion, picking up the phone and dialing for dollars, cold calling people, trying to raise money that way, that is desperation. In my opinion, going out to networking events and turning every conversation into a real estate conversation and doing the 30-second elevator pitch and all that kind of stuff, that's kind of desperate. That's kind of creepy. All right. And you guys, if you're doing this or you've done this, don't feel bad. I've done all of this stuff myself. All right. So I'm talking from painful personal experience here. Now, on the other hand, when you position yourself properly, when you get the word out properly about what you're up to, and when you encourage people to reach out to you if they're interested, you become attractive to investors. Does this make sense? It's kind of like the dating game, right? The less interested you seem to a certain extent, the less desperate, the less needy you seem, the more attractive you become. You guys know what I'm talking about here? Does this make sense to you? Same idea when it comes to raising capital. So what we're going to show you here, you don't have to be cold calling. You don't have to be networking, schmoozing endlessly. You don't have to be doing any of that kind of stuff. We're going to show you how to attract people. So principle number 2, now that you understand you don't want to be desperate or needy, now we need to pay attention to the advice we give to our kids. Stranger danger, stranger danger. So quick caveat here. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a securities specialist. I'm a real estate investor and a marketer, and I'm sharing my understanding of things. Does that make sense? Is that a good enough cover my ass disclaimer right there? Okay, so here's the thing. A lot of people, when they start raising capital, they figure anybody and everybody with a pulse and a checkbook could be a good investor. No, 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 no. Okay, a couple of reasons. Number one, why on earth would a complete stranger ever invest 100 grand with you if they don't know you, like you, or trust you? Does that make sense? It's illogical. Yet so many people try to do that. You need the know, like, and trust factor in there for somebody to invest their 100 grand with you. So don't go after strangers trying to get them to invest in your deals. I'm going to show you a much better way. The other thing is legalities, right? So as mom and pop real estate investors, if you're raising money or trying to raise money from strangers, from the general public, you're actually breaking the law. You're actually crossing the line unless you're set up in a profession like a financial planner, a stockbroker, maybe a mortgage broker. It's actually illegal for you and I to raise capital from the general public without a license to do it, or without an offering memorandum, or without setting up specific corporate structures and 506Bs or 506Cs and all this kind of stuff that tends to be very, very expensive and beyond the scope of most of us when we're first getting started. So I'm going to show you a better way. Does that make sense, you guys? So that's the big danger. Stranger, write that one down. Lee, you got permission to write that one down. Stranger, danger, okay? Don't do that. I'm going to show you what to do. Here's what we're going to do instead. So you've got the golden touch. We just need to show you how to use it. You've already got it. So we are going to focus our efforts on the low-hanging fruit. We're going to go after the easy money first. We're going to go after the fast money first. We're going to go after the safest money first. Who likes that idea? Fast money, easiest money, safest money. That's where we're going to go after first, okay? So we are going to focus on people that we have a pre-existing relationship with. We are going to leverage your existing network right now to get started with, okay? So that's what it's all about. And I'll show you exactly how to do that in a few minutes. So here's the thing, right? Needy is creepy. Don't be that guy or that gal when it comes to raising money. Don't go out charging out there like a bull in a china shop, trying to raise bucks from everybody and anybody. You got all the money you need to do all the deals you want to do over the next 6, 8, 12 months already available to you within your existing network. And I'll show you how to access that right now. Okay. All right, you guys. Is this making sense so far? Those foundational principles making sense? Okay, good. Now let's make it happen. So we want to start things off with your ideal target group of prospective investors. I call this your Dream 200. This is your investor list. So we're going to focus on your network, those pre-existing relationships. This is the best way, fastest way to get started. And we want to put them all into one place, like an email autoresponder system or a CRM system is even better, so that we can communicate with them effectively and efficiently, right? So that's the whole goal there. Really, really important that you do this because we've already got the know, like, and trust factor with these people. They already know you. They already like you. To a certain degree, they already trust you. Now we just have to show them they can trust us investing $100,000 with us. That makes sense, you guys? All right, so this works really well. Here's a great example. This is Cheyenne. I won't share the video right now, but we worked with Cheyenne very quickly. He had not a huge list, about 180 people. He had a ton of responses to the marketing that we did for him. And he got 2 investors on board within 4 weeks of starting the process. Who else would like 2 investors ready to rumble? Now that you understand how much an investor's worth to you, who'd like 2 of them within 4 weeks? So would that be all right? That'd be a good start. Okay, very, very doable. Okay. So once we've got this list, you guys, now what do we do with it? We need to get things started with the marketing. So we're going to show you this a little bit more in depth during the demo. But first thing we want to do is we want to break the ice with these folks and reconnect with them on more of a personal level first before we start talking real estate. This is a huge mistake most of us have made when we're first trying to start raising money. We just charge out like network marketers. We charge out like we're schlepping MLM or something like that. And we try to talk to everybody. No offense if you're into that, but you know what I mean, right? We try to do that and it just turns people off. I'm going to show you a much, much better way to do it with a warm-up campaign, okay? Once we've warmed them up, now we can start with the marketing. But we're going to do it very differently. We're going to do, write this one down, edutaining communication. A little bit educational, a little bit entertaining, edutaining communication on a very regular basis. So when we're working with clients, the first week of the month, it's a newsletter. Second week of the month, it's a blog post. Third week, video log. Fourth week, probably another blog post. So drip, drip, drip every single week, a little bit of edutaining communication. gives people the idea, creates curiosity, and gets them to click on that book a call button. Write this one down to you guys. The goal of our marketing is not to sell a deal. The goal of our marketing is not to sell a deal. The goal of our marketing is to get a meeting. The goal of our marketing is to get a meeting. All right. I repeated that because that's really, really important. And the way we do this is with that regular, constant, consistent, edutaining communication, right? And everything comes from your website, your investor-focused website, and brings people back to that website. So my whole goal for you, if we could wave that magic wand, is instead of you chasing after people, desperately, creepily trying to convince them to invest with you, we're going to use this edutaining marketing and get them coming to us, get them identifying themselves, get them booking meetings with us on our calendar. So it just pops up automatically on your phone. Ding, you've got a meeting booked with so-and-so Wednesday at 10 a.m. Great. They're good. You're ready to go. Is this making sense, you guys? Who likes that idea? Much better than chasing after people, right? That's what this is all about. Perfect. Okay. So we talked about this: websites, electronic newsletters every month, first week of the month, video logs. We usually do that third week of the month. And in between, we do short, sweet little blog posts, right? Other things you can do: webinars. We'll talk about webinars in a minute. Here's a great example. This is Karina and Dave. These guys do infill developments. They do infill developments. So they'll find an underutilized piece of property in the city that they can get. And then Karina is an absolute whiz at getting that property rezoned, getting development plans put into place, doing all this kind of stuff with getting everything shovel ready. And then she sells the package to developers. And the developers love her because the developers love developing. They hate red tape. She's amazing at the red tape. So she'd done a few deals on her own steam. We started working with her very, very quickly. She raised close to $400,000 within 8 months. We bumped that up to $1.5 million that she has raised. She's starting to get into much bigger deals, starting to actually do the development side of things as well. And she hasn't ever looked back. But the big thing that worked well for her was that ongoing, constant, consistent marketing, the constant, consistent communication. Okay. And the whole goal of your marketing, if you guys remembered, is the goal of the marketing to sell a deal? No. The goal of the marketing is what? To get the investor meetings. That's the whole goal. So what are the investor meetings? This is where we're going to walk through what we're up to with a prospective investor. So what we do for our clients, and we recommend, is have a really good slideshow presentation put together, $1 million investor deck. Okay. And then you can do these one-on-one in person, Starbucks meetings. You can do them on Zoom. You can do one-to-many presentations via a webinar. So what we're on right now, this is an online group presentation. There's no reason why you can't do the exact same thing yourself for raising capital. Is this making sense, you guys? Okay, very good. So super important. This is where it all boils down to: getting you meetings. This is where you're going to make it or break it, right? So it's what it's all about. So it really depends on having those successful meetings. So everything we do for our clients is designed to get them quality meetings with quality prospective investors. Here's a great example. This is Bruno. Bruno's originally from Mexico. He had a bit of experience doing real estate in Mexico, absolutely none when he moved across the border. So we helped him get up and rolling very, very quickly. He did his first investor presentation and got a money partner on board for $200,000 right off the get-go. Jamie and Leslie, I love these guys. In fact, we ended up co-authoring a book together with these guys. They were rocking and rolling so well. When we first started working with them, they also were doing the BRRRR. They had 3 doors in their portfolio, 1 single family house. They hadn't put a suite in yet, and another one that they put a basement suite in. Then they ran out of cash. They ran out of credit. They weren't sure how to keep going. So we started working with them. Within their first year, well, actually within their first, I think it was 8 weeks, they raised their first 120 grand. That got them into their next deal. Within their first year, they boosted their portfolio up to 47 doors. Their second year boosted their portfolio up to 88 doors, started getting into bigger multifamily type deals. Right last time I was talking with them, they were starting to do deals in Curacao and the Caribbean. These guys are from Canada originally. They started traveling, fell in love with Curacao, and bought an Airbnb, bought a rundown place, did a burr on that, turned that into a luxury Airbnb. That's where they live when they go hang out down there. And last time I was talking, they were using investor capital, buying a small resort to turn that into short-term rentals as well. Is that cool or is that cool? Talk about living the lifestyle. That's what it's all about. And both of them quit their jobs doing the real estate thing full time. Ben and Tanya, we talk about their $1 million investor presentation. Usually we're able to help people raise $1 million over a number of months, usually within their first year. These guys, within I think it was 3 months, they had raised $1.5 million for their deals following this process. All right. And if you guys want to check out other case studies and success stories and whatnot, you can check out our website, moneypartnerformula.com, moneypartnerformula.com. There's a results tab. You can check all that out there. Okay. All right. Who was it that wanted to see the demo? Who was it? Who was it I asked about that? Was it Sheena? Sheena said, yeah. Sheena, thumbs up. We're still good to go for the demo. Okay. Very good. So here's the goal, you guys. You see those people having a meeting there? That is the goal of everything we're doing, is to get you investor meetings, getting you sitting down, knee to knee, eyeball to eyeball, Zoom to Zoom, whatever it is, with a prospective investor and showing them what you've got. That's the whole goal of the thing. So we start with that list of prospective investors. Remember that? We talked about that, your dream 200 list of prospective investors. Is anybody a little bit worried that you might not know 200 people? Nobody here? Everybody in Hawaii is super sociable, so you all know hundreds and hundreds of people. You probably do, actually. All right. So anyhow, here's what we do with our clients to put this list together. First of all, we export all of their contacts from their cell phone, their email addresses, their social media, that box full of business cards that's lying around wherever. We get all those contacts into one place. And chances are we're going to start with 1,000, 1,500, maybe 2,000 people in that list altogether. But they don't have a genuine connection with all 2,000 people. So then we quickly whittle it down to 200 people that are really in their network. So instead of trying to think up 200, we start with a couple of thousand and whittle it down to 200. Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense, you guys. Okay, so I mean, chances are you got a lot of people in those. So get them all into that CRM system. And then here's the magic. Here's where the magic starts to happen. You guys remember I showed you that example of Cheyenne, who got his first 2 investors on board in a matter of a few weeks. This was from the warm-up campaign, okay? The warm-up campaign is designed to break the ice. It's designed to break the ice. It's designed to get you started on the right foot with your prospective investors and line everything up for success. So the way the warm-up campaign works is it's 3 simple emails we send out over about a 1-week period. Monday, second one goes out, let's say on Wednesday, third one might go out on Friday. So drip, drip, drip. These are the first communications we're sending to our folks. All right. So the first message is just a regular email like you get every day, but it's a very personal email. It's like, let's say Brandon was sending this out to his list. It would be something like this. Hey, it's Brandon. Chances are it's been a while since we connected. So I thought I'd try something different and just send you an email to see how you're doing, let you know what I've been up to. So here's what I've been doing for the last, 3, 4, 5 years. Here's what I'm doing for work. Here's how the family's doing. Here's what's going good. Here's what hasn't been so good through COVID. Here's what we like to do for fun. Here's the last vacation we did, yada, yada, all this kind of stuff, right? So just a nice personal connection. And here's the key, write this one down, you guys. At the end of that message, we want to say something like this. Well, that's enough about me. How about you? How are you doing? Please hit reply to this message. Hit reply to this email. I'd love to catch up. You're going to send this out to all 200 people on your list via that email, that CRM system. You guys follow me here? Okay. So a very efficient way, a very effective way to do this without you having to pick up the phone and call 200 people, without you having to individually message 200 people. Very, very efficient. Okay. So send that out, for example, on Monday. A couple of days later, we're going to send out a similar message by a different format. We're going to send out a video message. Same kind of idea. Hey, it's Brandon. Chances are it's been a while. I thought I'd do something different and send you a quick little video message, let you know what I've been up to. Basically talking about the same thing, but this time it's via video. And the reason we do video is because it is so much more personal, right? If you see the person, you connect with them so much better. All right. So a short little sweet little video, send that out via email. And again, ask people to respond back to you, let you know what they're doing. So drip, drip, we've had those 2 messages. And then here's where the magic happens, you guys. Okay. The third message is the transition message. And this is where we're going to tell people that we're going to switch gears and we're going to start talking about real estate, and they might be interested in investing with us. Okay. And then I'm also going to recommend that we do something really counterintuitive, and we actually encourage people to unsubscribe from our list. Does that sound weird? We encourage people to unsubscribe from our list if they don't want to hear about what we're doing with real estate investing. So you guys, let's play along here just to see if you're still awake. If we got 200 people on our list and we do these 3 emails, what percentage of those people do you think are going to unsubscribe when we tell them to? What do you think? Go ahead, type it in the chat box. Let me know what's going on there. Brandon, maybe you can take a look at it. We got 200 people on the list. We say, hey, if you don't want to hear about real estate, click unsubscribe. How many of them are going to take us up on that?
Yeah, we got 80%, 30, 50%, 25, none.
Good. Thanks for playing along here, you guys. We've done this a couple of 100 times. Would you like to know what our experience has been? What typically happens? Is it De Gracia? Jay De Gracia? Yes. All right. I'll just call you Jay. Jay says yes. Nobody else is looking all that interested. So Jay, I'll have a private conversation afterwards and tell you what it is. Okay. Does that sound good? All right. Very good. Does anybody else want to hear what the real number is? Sheena's looking kind of. Roderick's saying, yeah. Okay. Spit it out. All right, you guys. We've done this several 100 times. Thanks, Christopher. All right. I'm trying to get some enthusiasm out of you. Here's what we found. If you got 200 people on your list and you do it the way I suggest you do it, chances are you're going to get somewhere between 3 and 6 people opting out. Not percentage, 3 and 6 people. We just did this last week with a client. They had 5 opt-outs. Did it the week before with a different client. They had 4 opt-outs. That's it. Is that surprising to anybody else? Anybody skeptical about that? Would you like to see why we get such a low opt-out rate? 2 reasons. Reason number 1 is the list. If we were doing this to a bunch of strangers, yes, you would have 80, 90% opting out. Okay. But we're not going to strangers. We're going to our network. We're going to people we already have a pre-existing relationship with. We're going to people after we've already connected with them with those first 2 messages. And then the way we do the transition message is key. The way we do the transition message is key. Would you guys like me to do a demo of the transition message? Yeah, so you can refer back to it. You can do something similar yourself. Okay, you guys. So Brandon, I'm going to pretend I'm you. I'm nowhere near as young or good looking, and I don't have the great hairline that you do, my friend, but I'll do my best. All right. So here we go. If I were Brandon doing a transition message, maybe I should be Gilbert. Gilbert and I have similar hairstyles, but he's rocking it way better than I am. I tell you what. Okay. Anyhow, I'll stick with Brandon. Okay. So if I was Brandon doing this transition message, it'd go something like this. Hey, it's Brandon. It's been really good reconnecting with you over the last week or so. I just want to let you know that moving ahead, I plan on doing a much better job of staying in touch and also letting you know what I'm up to with real estate investing. Real estate is something I'm very passionate about. I'm very excited about. I'm doing really well with it, especially with the BRRRR strategy that I'm using these days. And in fact, I think real estate is the best way for everyday folks like you and like myself to get an above average return on our money backed by something that's solid and tangible. And that's a real piece of property. And hey, who knows? Maybe sometime in the future, you might even want to partner with me and share in the profits on a deal. But you know what? If you're not interested in real estate, that's okay too. You can always click unsubscribe at the bottom of any of my emails. You'll be taken off my list immediately. Now, my feelings might be a little bit hurt for quite a while, but eventually I'll get over it. All right. Now, in the meantime, if you haven't had a chance to get back to me and let me know how you're doing, please, please, please hit reply to this email. I would love to catch up. Take care and talk to you soon. Send that out to all 200 people. Okay. So did you guys hear all the different things that we did? That was like a 1-minute message, but there's so much going on in that message, right? Number one, we're letting them know we're going to keep communication going. Number two, we're letting them know we're going to switch gears and we're going to start talking about real estate. Number three, we let them know that we're excited about real estate. We're doing really well with it. Okay, cool. Number four, we let them know that we think this is the best way for people like them and people like us to get a really good return on our money backed by something solid and tangible, a real piece of property. Who agrees with that, by the way? Or should we all go with crypto? How's crypto doing these days? Should we have all invested in crypto? I don't know, right? Here's the thing, you guys, you got to believe it. You wouldn't be here if you didn't, but we got to express that, right? And then here's the big one. And who knows, maybe sometime in the future, you might even want to partner with me on a deal and share in the profits. Ooh, ding, 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 profits, 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 right? But if you're not interested, that's okay too. You can always click unsubscribe and you'll be taken off my list immediately. My feelings will be devastated, but eventually I'll get over it. Guilt trip. I say that tongue in cheek with a little smile on my face, but they're going to feel a little guilty if they unsubscribe. Does it make sense now why we have so few people unsubscribing, you guys? All right, now we've done all this. We have set the stage for everything that's coming. Now, this is not designed to get you meetings, but here's what happens. Literally, you guys, with half of the clients that we work with, they get meetings booked just from this warm-up campaign. Doesn't happen all the time, but about half the time, our clients are getting meetings booked right from this. Hey, Brandon, I didn't know you're doing real estate investing. That's so cool, man. I'd like to find out more. Oh, would you? Okay, I'll show you what it's all about. Okay. Half the time, that's exactly what happens. Okay. Now, the next thing is let's kick the marketing into gear. It all starts with having an investor-focused website and then that weekly, constant, consistent, edutaining communication, newsletter, blog post, video log, blog post, newsletter, blog post, video log, drip, drip, drip every single week, week after week, month after month, edutaining them with a clear call to action. Hey, if you'd like to find out more, you'd like to see how this can work for you, go ahead, book a call, click on the link below. Let's have a conversation. Tell them exactly what you want them to do, and they'll do it. They won't all do it all at once, but if you're dripping on them on a regular basis, that's how we get your calendar starting to fill up with those appointments. This is the whole process, you guys. Pretty simple. And if you do it properly, this is going to start getting you investor meetings popping up on your Google Calendar like it's magic. All right. This is really the combination to the vault. So you guys, big picture, this is our process. This is our roadmap. We got 3 phases. The foundation phase, like we talked about, create that list, your dream 200 list of prospective investors. Have your website set up. This is your online marketing hub. Everything's coming from it, bringing people back to it. Create your $1 million investor presentation. So you're ready to go when people put up their hand and say, hey, tell me more. Get things going with the launch phase with this warm-up campaign that we just talked about. Another thing that we do, we don't have time to go over it right now today, is the ninja strategy. This is a way that we get our clients anywhere between 10 and 15 meetings booked right off the get-go. All right. Do you think you could probably raise some money pretty quickly if we got you 10 to 15 investor meetings booked right off the get-go? If you had $1 million investor presentation, you knew how to use it, Darn right. So this is how we're able to help people raise those six figures in the first number of weeks, right? So that's how that works. Then we kick things into gear with the marketing, just like we talked about. Constant, consistent, edutaining communication, drip, 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 every single week with a clear call to action. Once we've got all this set up, you guys, now it's time to leverage things. This is phase 3. How do we leverage things? We go from one-on-one presentations to doing group presentations, webinars. All right. So I want you to imagine this. Imagine if you had a group like we have here today watching a presentation of yours about your deals. Do you think you'd be able to raise a few bucks if you had a really good presentation? Give me a hands up if you think. If you had, okay, this might be a little extreme because we got like 35 people on the call here. If you had 5 people on a call, would that be pretty damn good? If you had 10 people on a call, would that be pretty good? That'd be excellent. All right. This is leverage. This is going from one-on-one to one-to-many presentation. Capital continuity. Very important, you guys. I can't tell you how many people I've seen get off to a pretty good start and then fizzle out. So anybody seen that before? Kind of like if you watched me at the gym at the beginning of the year, right? Off to a good start, fizzles out after a little while, a few months, and it starts to fizzle out. You don't want to do that. You want to be consistent, because here's the reality, and write this one down. Whether you're working with us or you're working on your own and you're implementing this process, you're going to be able to raise a quick pop of cash right from the get-go within your first 90 days. Okay. However, that's only going to represent about 15% of what's available to you. 85% of the capital that's available to you from your network is going to take more time, right? Just because we want them to invest now doesn't mean that they're ready, willing, or able to invest with us right now. So if you stop after 90 days, yeah, sure, you've raised a little bit of money, but you're leaving the vast majority on the table. So this is why it's so important. When we work with clients, we work with them for at least a year. You know, that's how we get started with people, is working with them with a full year. Get everything set up, get everything running, get everything going for a full year so we can get that quick pop of cash. Plus, we can get them access to the bigger capital over time. Give me a hands up if that makes sense, you guys, right? We need to stay top of mind. When they are ready, willing, and able to invest, we want to be the guys and gals they are thinking about. Okay, super important. And then boosting your credibility. This is all about that trust factor. Know, like, and trust. They need to know, like, and trust you in order to invest with you. This is all about creating that trust factor. You do this all sorts of ways: the way you dress, the way you speak, the materials you have, the presentation you have, the website, doing exactly what Brandon and Gilbert are doing. You know, speaking at real estate investment associations, meetups, organizing something like this, having your own podcast, getting interviewed on podcasts. Heck, you really want to take it to the next level. Writing a book. Nothing says authority like being an author. That's where authority comes from, right? So all these different ways to create that authority. All right, you guys. So there you go. That's the 3 steps. And this is how we're able to help our clients raise 6 figures in a matter of 6 to 12 weeks and 7 figures within a year. Okay. So the clients that we work with are active real estate investors who have at least one successful deal under their belt. They're willing to be 100% fair and upfront with their investor partners, and they're cooperative and easy to work with. So if this is something that you're interested with, you guys, if you would like our help in raising private capital the easy way, then I'm going to encourage you to go to this website. It's called bookachatwithdave.com. You go there, you book a capital clarity call, and that way you're going to be able to raise that 6 figures in a matter of weeks and 7 figures in a matter of months. So during the call, we're going to really get you dialed in on what your goals are, your ambitions are for your real estate investing process, your portfolio. We're going to take a look at what your challenges are, what the opportunities are as well, and create a step-by-step game plan or a roadmap to get you there, whether that's working with us or not. So again, if you'd like our help in raising private capital the easy way, then again, feel free to go there, bookachatwithdave.com. We're going to help you raise those 6 figures in a matter of weeks, 7 figures in a matter of months. And all you have to do is, again, we call this a capital clarity call. And worst case scenario, We get together, we have a chat for 30 to 45 minutes, give you some free advice, if that sounds good to you. And best case scenario, we end up working together and we're able to really help you just like we have all of these other clients as well. Okay, there you go. There you go, you guys. I'm 8 minutes over, but hopefully you got some good value from that.
Right on. Yeah. Thank you, Dave. Really, really appreciate it. So Dave's screen is on your screen right now. His website, if you wanted to get in touch with Dave, you can go to his website, bookachatwithdave.com, or he has his website, privatemoneyformula.com. And we're going to hold off on questions for tonight. If you did want to reconnect with Dave or ask him whatever questions, go check out his website. I'm actually going to put his website in the chat.
Yeah,
Right
put it
there.
in the chat as well there, Brandon. So that's great.
Perfect.
Guys, I want to thank
All
you very
right.
much. Brandon, thanks for playing along with me, buddy. I appreciate that. I think it went pretty well. And Gilbert, thank you very much for also helping make this all possible and running this group. I know how much time and effort goes into running a real estate meetup, you guys. So I appreciate what you're doing. I'm sure everybody else that's on here appreciates as well. And you guys, thank you so much for allowing me to come share my evening with you. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. So like we said earlier, Dave is out in Canada and it's late on his end. So rest of you guys don't go. We're going to jump into breakout rooms. But for Dave, we'll let you go. We appreciate you coming on and just sharing your knowledge and allowing us to get some of those insights. So
all right. Thanks, you guys. Dave. Feel free to unmute so I can say good night to you. Thank you very much, everybody.
Great stuff, Dave.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks so much. All right.
Thank you, Dave.
Right on. All righty. So before we go out into breakout rooms, because we're not done yet, we want to respect everybody's time. We're going to cut it a little bit short than usual. But before we do that, I did want to share some upcoming announcements really quick. So we do have our popreal event happening on August 10th at 6:30 p.m. That's at Embassy Suites in Kapolei. I believe you can still get tickets to that. Is that right, Gilbert?
It will be live shortly. Just getting it underway.
Okay, so look out for that. We're gonna post it on social media and so forth. WNN will also be holding an event for aspiring investors. So these are brand new guys still looking to get into investing, not really sure how to get started. We're planning to have that in the near future, probably July 11th. Please be on the lookout for more information on that. And that's really for aspiring investors, guys that haven't started yet. And then for Westside Meetup next month, we are going to be having a couple come on and talk about midterm rentals. So they're Lisa and Leo Vlachakis. I believe
Vlachakis. I believe it's Vlachakis. So
there we go.
I don't see them on here tonight, but yes, look forward to them speaking about their midterm rental journey.
Cool. All righty. So I just wanted to make sure I get those out before we jump into breakout rooms.
Yep. And
I believe we're all
set
ready to go, right? Okay,
yep.
Cool. So we're going to be jumping out into breakout rooms. We're looking at about 15 minutes and try to get you guys all out here by 8:30. In the rooms, we want to go around the room and share who we are, what our name is, what we do in real estate. And since we're on the topic of private money tonight, share what's your approach to raising private money. Is it the same? Is it different? And then if there's a little bit more time, you guys can maybe share one tip with the group or maybe help somebody who's looking to raise their first lend, giving them some tips.